Marburg virus is baked into the shots and will be activated by 3 one-minute pulse waves at 18 gigahertz from the 5G towers all over the country. The government has been preparing for this for years now, and it will be released in October 2023 according to a Attorney Todd calendar. Hashtag plandemic, hashtag COVID is not over, hashtag Marburg, hashtag zombie apocalypse.
Well, as of recording this video, not to date the recording or anything, it is the 18th of November and nothing's happened. We're only, like 3 weeks overdue at the very latest, like 2.5 weeks overdue of the end of October. Nothing's happened. Crazy that, but don't worry, I'm sure that the goalposts will be moved by the time that the day is out, because if there's one thing we know, it's that when an anti-vax prophecy doesn't come true, they move the goalposts. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning once again to r/vaxxhappened. It's been a little while since we last did a video on this, but Before we begin, I just wanted to quickly mention that I'll be live over at Twitch in 2 hours of this video coming out. We didn't stream last week, but we are streaming this week, so come check out the stream. It will be a good time. Other than that, let's get straight into the subreddit, shall we? A maximum 10 years from your first jab. If nothing else in the jab kills you, titanium, mercury, lead, hydra, the graphene hydroxide will do the job by then. And you have evidence of this, do you? Mountains of it. Doesn't link any of it. You know that when someone says, do you have evidence? Your response isn't yes. It's yes, and here it is. Also, second post in the video, we've already got a goalpost move. Already they've moved the goalposts again. I remember when the first vaccine came out, it was in a year you'll be dead. When a year passed, it was when you've had all 4 boosters, in a year you'll be dead. When a year passed from that, it was, oh, it'll happen in October when the 5G towers do it. And now it's 10 years away. Now it's maximum 10 years. What happens in 10 years then? Because we're still waiting. The goalposts have been moved and moved and moved. They aren't even picking up and carrying the goalposts anymore. They have strapped them to their backs and they are just sprinting. You can never meet their goalposts anymore because they will have moved their goalposts before you've even reached them.
A girlfriend had the shot. She had always been healthy and active and beautiful. She has family and daughter got the mandatory booster. Her heart exploded immediately.
Injected. Immediately. It's not even like she got the shot, she went home and a few days later died. It's her heart exploded immediately. She just needle in, chest detonated. They don't even try and make them believable, do they?
My daughter hinted that I risk death from COVID if I didn't get vaxxed. Well, that could be true. COVID, aka flu, does kill if not taking medication, which they wouldn't be because they would have been diagnosed with COVID-19, which doesn't exist. I replied to her at that time saying, over my dead body. She rolled her eyes mumbling, yeah, that's when it's too late. Like I was the one who had no idea. It amuses me when I make the point that COVID-19 doesn't exist and some laugh. Obviously they would be vaxxed, but also lucky to not be amongst the 1 billion worldwide that have died from taking it for a non-existent virus.
There's levels to take apart with this one. First of all, these people, anti-vaxxers, cannot decide whether COVID is either just not as dangerous, they say, or doesn't exist. They can't decide. It's one of the two, but they will push both. You can't have both. It's either real but not dangerous, or it doesn't exist. But the other one, to say that 1 billion people have died worldwide from the vaccine. 1 billion, okay? That is 1 in 8 people. That means statistically that everyone knows someone. Everyone knows multiple people that have died from the vaccine. Like in my family, in my direct family, I have 2 siblings and 2 parents. That means there's 5 of us, okay? That means that out of us 5, if we then had my aunt, uncle, and only one of my cousins, statistically, one of us should have died of the vaccine. And that's ignoring the rest of my indirect family. And that's ignoring my friends, the people I know, people I have on Facebook. Everyone should know many people that have died, multiple. If you have, right, statistically, more like 20 people, if you know 20 people on Facebook, statistically, you should know at least 2 people, bordering on 3 people that have died. If you know 24 people, statistically, you should know 3 people that have died from the COVID vaccine. You don't, do you? Because this is made up bullshit. 1 billion people haven't died from the vaccine. That is actually insane to say. Like, I cannot comprehend how anybody could actually believe this to be true. Like, how does anyone believe that to be true? No one should be surprised that an anti-vaxxer would kill his mother for having vaccinated him. The violence is the anti-vax rhetoric claiming vaccines permanently damage children and has been for decades. Anti-vaxxer murders own mum with crossbow saying childhood jabs ruined his life. Bear in mind, this anti-vaxxer was 21, okay? His life's barely begun, and if he believes that his life has been ruined, it's because he f***ed it up, not because he's vaccinated. But anyway, that's a tragedy. Someone has murdered their mum for vaccinating them, which is actually insane, but unsurprising among anti-vaxxer communities. They're all batshit. And then you have Larry Cook, one of the most batshit of batshit insane anti-vaxxers, who said, "You missed the part where he was vaccinated and as such was vaccine injured, which can lead to all kinds of mental health issues. With autism now 1 in 36 in the US due to vaccines, it's surprising how few act out in violence because of the vax injury." What a fucking obscene, ridiculous, shitty, ghoulish thing to say, okay? First of all, there is no link between vaccines and autism, and the guy that came to that conclusion was paid to do so and was literally stripped of his right to practice medicine because he didn't disclose in court the fact that he was paid to make that link. That link was disproven and he was stripped of his rights to practice medicine because he was paid to lie in a lawsuit. And anti-vaxxers think the vaccines are about the money. First of all, that's fucking stupid. Second of all, it is absolutely ridiculous to claim that vaccines are the thing that made this guy murder his mum, and not the fact that he was indoctrinated and brainwashed by predatory anti-vaxxers who told him that his life was ruined by his mum, okay? Vaccines didn't do this to him. Anti-vaxxers did this to him. If this guy had never come into contact with anti-vaxxers, he would never have killed his mum. Also, the insinuation here is that the vaccine can cause all kinds of mental health issues like autism. Autism doesn't turn people into murderers. Just all of these links that Larry Cook comes up with are fucking dangerous, harmful, and disrespectful. You and your community did this, Larry Cook. You are raising people who hate vaccines so much that they would be willing to murder a parent over it. Vaccines didn't do that. Anti-vaxxers did that. Imagine being a pediatrician and every year giving more and more vaccine doses, and every year seeing more and more cases of autism, ADHD, autoimmune disorders, life-threatening allergies, cancer, diabetes, and epilepsy, and still not making the connection, not even being curious. Well, first of all, most of these, in fact, the majority of the things they've just listed are genetic, so can't be introduced by vaccines because that's not how genetics work. But also, there have been studies. Pediatricians and doctors have been curious, and every single time, research has shown, oh, turns out there is no link between vaccine and things like autism, epilepsy, autoimmune disorders, etc. There's no link there. But just correlation doesn't cause causation. We've been through this in videos before, but it's so easy to draw links between anything because there's correlation, you know? But what about fucking everything else going on in the world? You know, global temperature rising. What about impurities in the air? The fact that every year the air quality we breathe is slightly worse, you know? All of these fucking things. None of them actually cause these things because most of them are genetic, but they're still correlated, right? That's what anti-vaxxers are like. Oh, I ate an ice cream and my child drowned. That must be it. The ice cream drowned my child, guys. It's fucking stupid. Anti-vaxxers are fucking stupid. An anti-vaccine doctor is like an anti-toothbrush dentist.
Using a toothbrush is stupid. It causes bacteremia. You are an idiot. How would you know? Bacteremia are associated with toothbrushing and dental extraction. My favorite thing about PubMed links now is that they have to put a thing from the National Library of Medicine that says, by the way, we don't necessarily endorse the things published here, which I find fucking hilarious because there's so much bullshit on PubMed now. But also, yes, bacteremia can be caused by excessive brushing. Excessive brushing, mind you. However, I'll just put a little thing on screen here about how bacteremia caused by things like brushing and dental, the words just left me, by dentistry basically, is harmless. When you get bacteremia from those things, it's harmless. You probably won't even get a fever. You can get it from other things that can get much worse, like pneumonia. You know that thing caused by, I don't know, COVID? It's like, imagine referencing something that then fucking proves you're an idiot. The entire vaccine industry is a scam, especially when we consider that vaccines do not confer immunity. Whoa, it's crazy when you put it like that, like when you lie. Like, who knew that like things can sound bad when you lie? Look, Larry, I'll give you an example, right? Larry Cook is a scam artist, especially when you consider the fact that he touches kids. I don't need to prove it. Do your own research. That's just how it is. If you did your own research, you'd realize that Larry Cook predates on children. Now, this is only a half truth, okay? He doesn't predate on children, actually, because most of the children that he discusses are already dead. Larry Cook actually predates on the parents of those dead children and is fucking despicable. I'm gonna just read out a thing about the practices of Larry Cook and the company he founded, which is, along with other anti-vaccination activists like Andrew Wakefield and Del Bigtree. By the way, Andrew Wakefield is the guy I mentioned earlier who was literally bribed to lie about vaccines causing autism. Literally bribed, okay? So a piece of shit that started all this was disproven and lied because he was paid money to hundreds of thousands of pounds. And Del Bigtree, who made a film about Andrew Wakefield, so neither of them are fucking credible. Anyway, he seeks to use testimonies of parents who lost young children to causes such as sudden infant death syndrome and accidental asphyxiation, but became convinced that vaccines were really to blame for the tragedy. Stop Mandatory Vaccination circulates a number of those stories, which are highly effective at growing both the revenue of both the anti-vaccination movement and the website. In some cases, grieving parents are contacted online by anti-vaccination activists who suggest that their infant's death be linked to vaccination, and then they share links to the website or Facebook group, okay? That's such a scummy move, okay? These are vulnerable people, right? In these cases, a lot of these asphyxiation and sudden infant death cases are to do with things like co-sleeping. In the case of Evie, one of the most prestigious cases, her mum killed her child in her sleep. A horrible accident, but it happened. And then she was predated upon by anti-vaxxers, by these fucking ghouls that make it an actual job to go out and predate upon vulnerable parents who are grieving the loss of their child and go, you know it was the vaccines, don't you? We've got a whole page about it. Why don't you come make us money by talking about the fact that vaccines killed your child? It was the vaccines. You know you need to put the blame somewhere. How about you blame the vaccines and you make us money while you do it? They're fucking ghouls. It's actually the most despicable, disgusting thing. Andrew Wakefield was so discredited. He was so dishonored and put down by the fact that he was bribed to make this claim. He fucking left the country. He now practices in America. He left the UK because he was such a piece of shit. And these kinds of people are allowed to just walk free. This dude predates on parents who have lost their children, profits off of it, and spreads this rhetoric around the internet. What a fucking disgusting ghoul. Genuinely a fucking disgusting ghoul. I just want some credible articles to back up my conspiracy theory. Can't find any. must be censorship.
Of course it is. You can't find anything that backs up your theory. It can't be that your theory's bullshit. It just must be censorship. Of course it is. We haven't even got the bias of verifying your claims by looking things up anymore. They can't even do that. They can't even find things to verify their claims. But rather than go, maybe my claims are in fact just wrong, they go, no, it's the censorship that's the issue. You can't argue with these people. You can't. You're either wrong or censoring them.
Just called a holistic dentistry office, and they said half the staff are vaxxed. She prob thought I had two heads when I said I didn't want a vaxxed person touching me. Guess I'll keep driving 3 hours. In regards to shedding, tired of people trying to gaslight the obvious, she said, well, when you find out what's caused the issues, we'd be glad to see you. I'm having a stroke. I told her I know what issue causes the issues they need to get. Is this person saying that vaccine shedding is causing their teeth issues? This is a dentistry office. Are they saying that people with the COVID vaccine are giving her dentistry issues? I can't do this anymore. We got one more post. And then I can call it. Oh God, I'm losing brain cells. Things that have happened globally post-experimental RMNA gene therapy rollout. Excess deaths up. Birth rate fertility down. Tell me it's not depopulation without telling me it's depopulation. First of all, that last phrase is not how that phrase works. It would be, tell me it's depopulation without telling me it's depopulation. Not tell me it's not depopulation without telling me it's depopulation. That doesn't fucking make sense. Also, you're fucking stupid. Again, I need to just mention this one thing that just destroys any of these conspiracy theories, okay? Destroys the ones about control, the ones about depopulation, the ones about killing people, the ones about money, all of those fucking things, okay? Let's assume all of that is true. It's about money, okay? It's about control. Why would they be killing the ones that take the vaccines? They wouldn't, would they? Those are the obedient people. If this was about control and depopulation, let's just say that you're a totalitarian government and your plan was to kill a load of people off and take extreme control over your country, okay? Would you A, kill off all of the obedient people, or B, kill off all of the disobedient people? That's right, you'd kill off all the disobedient people. You wouldn't go around and wipe out your whole country's worth of obedient people, would you? You'd have no fucking control because all the people left wouldn't listen to you. It's stupid. Anybody who genuinely believes that as an argument for vaccines being dangerous is stupid. You lose repeat customers, you lose control, and you lose obedience. There's no reason, there is nothing to gain for anybody for vaccines being dangerous. Literally nothing to gain. And that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. Wow. Yeah, if you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Special thank you to all of the YouTube members that do support the channel. All of you are incredible, wonderful, amazing people, and it genuinely means a lot. So yeah, thank you. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.